Did you guys know we recently hit 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube? Well, we'd actually be at more like 6,000 if the 85% of you returning viewers actually hit the subscribe button. You scroll down just a little bit and there's going to be a subscribe button for you guys right here. You can even hit like on the video or share it with your friends too while you're down there. And our description box down below also has links to all of the different socials I have. And the best part is you can even leave a comment telling me how much you enjoyed the video, or didn't. I don't care, it's your life. Subscribing doesn't take anything but that 1 second of time, and it really helps make sure that you don't miss any of my uploads. So if you are enjoying watching all of my content, it helps you out, and it helps me out. Now that you've done that, let's get back to the video. What is going on, everyone? Ninja Nick back with another league challenge. This is round 1 at Kirwan's game store in Catskill, New York. We've got Lost Box on the left, Chien-Pao on the right. You guys actually like this matchup, according to my analytics. I get a lot more views on specifically Lost Box versus Chien-Pao than I do a lot of other types of matchups, so good to be getting another one of those in. So Chien-Pao is going first, is able to establish the Bidoof and the Frigibax onto the bench. I would like to see at least one more Frigibax by the end of this turn as well, and a Manaphy would be perfect. That way, if the opponent is able to go for the turn 1 Greninja, Moonlight Shuriken, we won't be in fear of that if we have that Manaphy. And, you know, if we get, like, Boss crammed, that could be bad, so always want to get 2 Frigibacks onto the bench as well. Plus a turn 2 Sableye is always imminent, so you gotta be careful of that. Looks like we're gonna mill our own Radiant Greninja here. Not the best mill on the Pokestop here, but you gotta risk it for the biscuit, as they say at some times. So gonna attach an energy to the Bidoof. I guess in case he gets escape rope, to maybe he's thinking he's going to put the Bidoof in the active spot, and that would give him a way to retreat if the spit innocently is missed. So we are going to go for our first flower selecting on the first turn here for the Lost Box player, and we are going to mill ourselves a Battle VIP pass, going to be able to play that immediately. The Comfey mill is not super relevant. Usually you only want to get 1 or 2, or usually like 2 Comfeys in play. A lot of times when you get the third one down, you start bench locking yourself out of the ability to play Sableye and like things like the mirror. So milling the 1 Comfey, not too bad. And we even get a Super Rod for later as well. So we still have energies in hand, so we can use that Radiant Greninja's concealed cards. Going to do that immediately here as well. Looks like we drew into the Mew EX, so that's an interesting inclusion here. I suppose that's another way to get the Moonlight Shuriken off if maybe you prize your Greninja and can't find your Heavy Ball. Looks like we are going to go for a second Battle VIP pass as well, getting rid of the Mirage Gate. So this is a pretty strong start from Lost Box. Hopefully we will be able to find the Cramorant off of this. But it looks like we're actually going to go for the Manaphy over that, which makes sense here. I guess oh no, we're going Comfey Manaphy. I'm not sure how I feel about the Comfey, but if you don't have Colress's Experiment, I guess you do go for that, but I think he has Colress in hand. Or is that Boss? So we are just going to retreat into the next Comfey, flower selecting. Might as well get rid of the Stadium, because that's already in play, but it looks like we're going to get rid of the Switch Cart instead. Oh, because we're going to go for a double Pokestop. We're going to get rid of our opponent's one using Lost Vacuum, play our own, so that we can get a second use out of Pokestop. Stadium cards are once per card, but if you're able to do something like this where you discard the one that's in play and then put another one of the same name in play, you can use that named Stadium's effect a second time. And it is important to also note this matchup, this whole tournament is best of 3, 60 minutes for a league challenge, only 3 rounds, but this still took 5 hours because there were some computer issues. One of the juniors got put in as a master somehow, and it took like an hour to fix that. So, yeah, this was a rough one to be at for sure. Normally their events are run pretty well, but not this time. So it looks like we are just going to go for the pass. No spit innocently here. Was able to get to the 4 in the lost zone, but was not able to find that Cramorant because we did choose to find that extra Comfey instead. So I don't know. I guess we also didn't Colress's experiment either, so that must be a boss's orders in hand. So I suppose with that being a boss, that's definitely the correct play, is going for the 3rd Comfey and the Manaphy instead. But then it really feels bad just not having the ability to spit at all. So looks like we do have the Irida here. We're going to be able to rare candy into a Baxcalibur to be able to get our energy acceleration in play. That Baxcalibur's super cold ability allows you to break the normal rules of the game and allows you to attach as many energies as you want every turn, as long as they are water energies. So you get 1 regular attachment of any colored energy, and then infinite water energy attaches from hand per turn, which is a pretty sweet deal. Very reminiscent of the Blastoise that we used to have that had Deluge, which is legal in the expanded format if they ever decide to bring the expanded format back. I'm starting to doubt it at this point. They would have to ban like 30 cards in order for it to be playable again, honestly. So we are going to Ultra Ball away the 2 water energies we just searched for to get the Bibarel. Not that many cards, or too many cards in hand to be able to use the Bibarel, but not too many of those are very good. I guess we got 2 more water energies. We can always just attach those and knock out the Comfey in the active spot by using the Hail Blade of the Chien-Pao. Looks like we're also going to be playing the Canceling Cologne as well. Unless we're specifically going for Moonlight Shuriken, I don't know why you would be Canceling Coloning here, unless you're really digging for something else to be able to draw into with your Bibarel, just kind of burning that. Yeah, he even has a Cross Switcher in hand. I know he has the Greninja in discard, but he should be able to play... Oh yeah, he even has it in hand right now. The Super Rod. You could always put the Greninja back into the deck with the Super Rod and have access to that later. We are going to Pokestop. We do mill an Irida, but we get a nice turn 2 Battle VIP pass that doesn't work, and a rare candy after we've already rare candied into our Baxcalibur. So a little bit rough draws here. Not much you can really do with a lot of these cards. Yeah, you can choose to use the Super Rod now. Make sure that Greninja does get put back into play, or back into the deck so you can get it into play. But now that you have that back in deck, it feels really bad having used that Canceling Cologne already. Unless you can specifically still get that attack off this turn, but with that hand, it's not possible. So that's probably his only copy of Canceling Cologne. Some decks do play 2 copies, so maybe we still have access to that. We got quad Battle VIP pass in hand, flash to the camera. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate the flash of that to the camera. That's I knew there was 2 in there. I did not know there was 4. We have a nice Battle VIP pass in this Colress's experiment. Now that we've actually found a Colress, definitely going to be getting rid of that Battle VIP pass. And usually the Hisuian Heavy Ball is a pretty safe thing to put into the Lost Zone. But it looks like we're going to keep that to be able to check our prize cards anyway. Maybe there is something important that you prize that you want to have access to earlier. But you already have your Greninja in play. So I'm not sure what we're digging for with the Heavy Ball specifically. Was that a Cramorant as that last card there? Usually Heavy Ball, when I'm playing a Lost Box, is really nice turn 1. If it's just in your opening hand, because you can identify your prize cards very swiftly. But if you don't have it in that opening hand, it really feels like a dead card, because you just have to already go ahead and figure out what's prized. so that you can make your flower selecting choices correctly. So usually if I find it later in the game, it's always just an instant lost zone, just like the Battle VIP passes. Looks like we are going to take that Cramorant, so that would be another reason why we did not see the Cramorant on the last turn, is because it was in the prize cards. So maybe we're going to go with that attack this turn. I would really just like to see the acceleration straight into a Sableye right now. You could Sableye knock out the Beebrel on the bench and cut off the ability for our Chien-Pao player to be able to draw any cards consistently throughout the game, especially if you're playing something like Roxanne. In the Lost Box deck, then you can Roxanne your opponent to 2, and then they just are not able to play the game. Looks like we are going to go for the Dragonite here. We are at 7 cards in the Lost Zone, so an attachment of a Water Energy plus a Mirage Gate, or just 2 Mirage Gates, will be able to get us to that attack, to be able to one-shot the Chien-Pao. And if we're not getting the Sableye off this turn to knock out the Beebrel, I would say that this is the next best thing to go for. And it looks like we are going to go for double Mirage Gate. We are going to load up 1 energy onto that Comfey so that we can retreat as well. And we are going to go ahead and take the prize lead by taking 2 prize cards on this Chien-Pao. But this Chien-Pao can very easily retaliate with the knockout into the Chien-Pao, into the Dragonite as well, just because you only really need a few energy cards to do it. If you just have 1 superior energy retrieval, which we know is already in hand, that's a pretty easy way to go about it. The only real problem is that we're going to have to find another Chien-Pao, as well as find the way to switch into it, because I don't believe he's playing any of those Skaters Park. I think it's probably all Pokestop. Would make a lot of sense. A card fell into the backpack. Make sure you keep your cards on the table at all times. But yeah, if you find Chien-Pao and like a switch card, that would be really helpful. So Pokestop now, going to get another couple of item cards. Getting rid of that Sableye is not very ideal, because now that's another Super Rod you have to use to bring it back. So I guess we haven't used any Super Rods yet as Lost Box, so maybe it's fine. But if you have access to all your Sableyes in deck without having to use the Super Rod, that's the much better situation, because then you can use the Super Rod to recycle the energy cards so that you can do something like Moonlight Shuriken later in the game. And here is the superior energy retrieval. Going to discard 2 of those 4 Battle VIP passes that are in hand. Going to get 4 water energies back. And then you could Super Cold them all into play. You could attack with the Beebrel if you wanted to, but if you flip a coin and it's tails, you don't do nothing. So second superior energy retrieval just to get back 1 energy. And are we going to see a Baxcalibur attack this turn? That's not ideal. It's pretty darn far from ideal, if I say so myself. So we're going to load up that Baxcalibur. It's not the worst attacker, just it's not very good into the Dragonite specifically. We do find the Nest Ball as well as the other 2 superior energy retrievals, my lord. Yeah, so now we can just retreat, search the deck for 2 energies with the Chien-Pao, and then blow up the Dragonite. So we are back in the driver's seat. It was a little bit tough to get there, but we managed lucking out getting that Nest Ball. Now, we don't necessarily have to discard the energy off our active. We could discard some of them off of the Baxcalibur as well, just to make sure that we have energy already in play for the next turn, especially if that Baxcalibur does go down somehow. So you need, let's see, 4 energies to take the knockout. So you could discard all 3 off of the Baxcalibur and 1 off of the Chien-Pao. Leaving 1 on the Chien-Pao would not be too... And that Greninja got milled a second time off of the Pokestop. You hate to see it. That's really rough, because that is a really great, consistent way to draw cards all throughout the match. We're about 14 minutes into the game right now. And we are seeing the game advance at a decent pace. So I would expect to see a full 3 games if it does go that far. but we'll have to see. So, yep, gonna leave 1 on the Chien-Pao. I like that decision. Just in case. I don't really think it matters who you keep it on, but that's 1 less you need on the Chien-Pao next turn. So another Colress's Experiment is going to get rid of yet another Battle VIP pass, it looks like, as well as probably one of the Psychic Energies, I would assume. Yep, looks like that's what it is. So we are at 10 cards in the Lost Zone now. We can use our Sableye and Lost Mine away that Bibarel. This would be the perfect turn to go Roxanne, Sableye, knock out the Bibarel, and then make it so your opponent has infinitely small odds to be able to find another superior energy retrieval in the future. Already used 2 of them, of course, so that's going to make it hard in and of itself. But he does have both of those in hand, so it would be great to see those come out of there. We're going to use our own Nest Ball after shuffling the deck and offering it to cut. We are going to go for our Dragonite of our own here a second time. And maybe we have another Mirage Gate, because we've used 3 now. There's 1 in the Lost Zone, and we used 2 to power it up last turn. So we would have to have our last Mirage Gate in hand, and it appears that we do, but we do not have the Water Energy that we need to attach for turn. We have a Lightning Energy. And I think we might have to Forest Seal Stone just to get the Water Energy out of the deck. Yeah, and it looks like there's no Lightning in the deck either. So what you're going to have to do is maybe use concealed cards to get the Lightning Energy in the discard pile, then Super Rod the Lightning Energy back into the deck, then Mirage Gate. But then if you do that, you have a likelihood to be able to draw into that Water Energy that's in the deck and then not be able to find. So I think, actually, I think you Forest Seal Stone. How do you do this? Do you Forest Seal before you conceal cards? Okay, it looks like we're just going to go for... Okay, there's already a Lightning in the discard pile, so this is fine. Looks like he left the Lightning Energy in there previously when he used the Super Rod, so this is fine. He doesn't have to find a way to get that Lightning in hand into the discard pile to Super Rod it back. We have all of that already, so we are going to be able to go for that. We already, though, used our Forest Seal to... Yeah, we already used our Forest Seal to find, it looks like it must have been that Super Rod, so now we have to find that Water Energy that's in our deck. Because that's not in hand right now, if that is the way that we want to attack this turn. We do have plenty of escape ropes, so we can Flower Selecting our way to try to find it. I think you definitely get rid of the Forest Seal Stone here. You've already used the one that's on your Pokemon. And you can keep the Lost Vacuum to get rid of the Pokestop to stop helping your opponent in that regard. Concealed cards, gonna draw 2 more cards, and there's the Water Energy. Now you can switch cart specifically so that the Escape Rope would make it so that the Chien-Pao is no longer in the active, and it looks like right now you are going to be wanting to take the knockout on the Chien-Pao just to keep racing the prize cards like this. Looks like Chien-Pao is the only real attacker. It's the best way to deal with this Dragonite. So, you're likely maybe going to have to Dragonite a 3rd time, but you don't have any Mirage Gates left to you. So this Chien-Pao will live a couple of turns, and I don't know if as Lost Box you have a way to win now. You're going to have to... I think you're still going to have to Sableye knock out the Bibarel? That wouldn't really work. I think you'd have to... Yeah, I think you just have to 2-shot the Chien-Pao. And yeah, we see the superior energy retrieval, so that... I don't know what looking at the top of the deck was for. So the superior energy retrieval is able to get back some energies. You can use the Shivery Chill as well to search energies out of the deck as on top of that. So that will knock out the Dragonite, put our Chien-Pao player down to 2 prizes remaining, and the since there's no Mirage Gates left, Dragonite is not really the best option. So I don't know. I feel like we should have been using Sableye more, because usually Sableye is a pretty great attacker in this matchup. You can knock out the Bibarel, you can place damage on the Baxcalibur and knock it out. Like, if at any point during that game you just knocked out the Bibarel and the Baxcalibur, you just won the game. And just racing the Chien-Paos doesn't work in this matchup usually. You can usually use the Dragonite as like a closer. If you have 2 prizes remaining, your opponent is attacking with the Chien-Pao, so that's active. You just bop them with that. But 20 minutes into the game right now, we have 40 minutes left. So as long as all of 3 games are 20 minutes, we will be able to see a full 3 games. Unless Chien-Pao is able to just take this 2-0. So we'll have to see if that is the case or not. So all set up for game number 2. And let's get started. So it looks like Lost Box is choosing to go second. So we are going to be setting up here with the Nest Ball, getting that Greninja out of the deck. Unlike the last game where it just kind of stayed in there, stayed in the discard pile the whole time. We do have a Pokestop. We could risk going for that. We can't Irida on turn 1 because it is the first turn of the game. No supporters on turn 1. And the Cramorant start on the left is not ideal. You usually want to be starting with the Comfey. A lot of the times when you start Cramorant or just anything that's not Comfey, basically, you usually have to waste a retreat or a switch card in order to, you know, get those Comfeys into the active spot in order for you to even be able to spit innocently. If you want to leave this Cramorant in the active spot and conserve all of your switching resources, the only way that you would be able to do that is to, say, maybe put down Pokestop, Colress, and then Lost Vacuum the Pokestop to get 4 cards in the Lost Zone. I've definitely done that before. It's doable, but it's a lot less likely. Usually you only have 2 to 3 Lost Vacuums, and it's a lot harder to find your way into those types of cards without the use of your Comfeys. So we are going to mill, unfortunately, 1 Frigibax, but we did get the Battle VIP pass from that Pokestop, so we will be able to get ourselves maybe 1 more Frigibax and definitely that Manaphy out of there as well. We could choose to get the Chien-Pao if we have a way to switch into that, or just the energy to retreat. We could start getting our Shivery Chills going, but I think I like the idea of maybe putting up the Greninja more. Or just leaving the Bidoof in the active, and if your opponent escape ropes, then put up the Greninja. Yeah, we are going to go for the Shivery Chill now. So yeah, because if we put Chien-Pao in the active spot and we do get to 4 cards in the Lost Zone and just spit innocently with Cramorant, you now have 110 damage on that Chien-Pao, and that is being 2-shot by the Cramorant. And looks like that was just a pass of the turn after that, so we're going to draw a card. We're going to use our own Pokestop mills here, just getting rid of the lightning energy, being able to find ourselves our own Battle VIP pass. So the last league challenge I was at before this, I guess the last one that I recorded, I did not open Battle VIP pass any of my games with Gardevoir the entire tournament. There was actually one league challenge I went to in between this. It's a place where I normally don't record at because usually there's not that great of a turnout, and I usually don't like recording league challenges if there's 6 or less people. Just because it feels a little bit more stale that way if you can't have like if you have to put the same faces on multiple times, you know what I mean? But I was there and they told me no recording. You're not allowed to record because a Yu-Gi-Oh player cheated on his girlfriend on a Yugi Tubers video one time there, and the store was found liable for that, which is, I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen for Yu-Gi-Oh players for sure. But that's the most ridiculous story I've ever heard, and he was basically like, we were gonna start like streaming and stuff from our location ourselves, but I'm sick. That's what the store owner told me. It's like, so I haven't been able to get to it. I'm like, so I'm not allowed to, but you can. And the reasoning is because there was some guy at your store in the background of a video, but then you're gonna start streaming your own stuff at some point, which would then have the same issue. I'm like, none of it made any sense to me. They're very anti-consumer at that location, so I'm probably just not gonna go to their league challenges anymore anyway. Half the reason I even go to league challenges anymore is just to record. So, we did get the rare candy Baxcalibur without even having to play the Irida. We can play the Irida now, of course, after that. Be able to search our deck for any item card and water Pokemon, unless your name is Isaiah Bradner, in which case then you can search for 2 item cards with it. So we're going to get another Chien-Pao and a Battle VIP Pass. Probably just to thin that out because we are going to Ultra Ball, so that makes a lot of sense. Getting rid of a dead card out of your deck is the best way to do that. And we have the Superior Energy Retrieval already in hand. Ultra Balling to get that Bibarel. This is an extremely good start. Turn 2, having all of this going for you already. Even gets the Heavy Ball to look through the prize cards if he doesn't already know what's in there. And yeah, a lot of people actually at this event were saying that they only use their notepads to write down what they see from Heavy Ball and never check their prize cards otherwise, which honestly, I don't blame you. It's a lot of effort. I usually only identify like 4 prizes correctly every game. Pokestop to draw 3, you love to see it. Getting the what's it called? The cross switcher. If there was a Manaphy in play, bring that sucker up, but there's not, so you don't have to worry about going for that just yet. We are probably trying to go for this Greninja's Moonlight Shuriken this turn. Definitely, again, don't have to worry about the Manaphy, it's not in play. So we are gonna retreat. Oh, a little bit of a missequence there. So he used the Superior Energy Retrieval to get 2 energies out of his discard pile, then retreated the Chien-Pao to put 2 energies back in there. If he retreated the Chien-Pao first, he would have gotten 4 energies back. So a little bit unfortunate that he did it that way, but he knows what he did. And gonna knock out the double Comfey, taking 2 prize cards, and that's a pretty massive lead at this point. Chien-Pao always used to have such a really bad Lost Box matchup, and it almost seems like more recently the deck is starting to come together with a little bit more consistency and is able to pick off these Lost Box decks a little bit better. I have seen Chien-Pao performing fairly well at a lot of regionals recently. I think one of them even got top 8 at this last one. So we do have a Raihan in hand. You could use that to like maybe start powering up the Radiant Greninja, but I don't know what else you do here. The Cramorant can attack. You should have more than 4 cards in the Lost Zone at this point. Yeah, you could just use the energy from the Raihan to just be a way to retreat. And it looks like we're using that to grab the Nest Ball for the Comfey, just using the Nest Ball as a way to thin 1 more card from the deck. And this is rough. If you weren't already down a game, I would say scoop, go to the next game to save time, but of course you have to play it out at this point, because if you do scoop this game, you are now 0-2 in this match and lose the entire match, so. But, again, like, you were much more poised to win in the first game, and your opponent had a much worse start than this, and you weren't able to win. And now you're the one having the bad draws and everything, and your opponent is completely set up. They have the Baxcalibur, the Manaphy, the Greninja, Bibarel, double Chien-Pao. But I definitely think if you can get to Sableye this turn, Sableye, knock out the Bibarel, and then just try to Roxanne on the next turn. That is probably your only out. But again, that hand doesn't get you there. It's just a couple of energies and a Mirage Gate. I mean, I guess maybe you can attack with Greninja next turn, but that's not even going to get a knockout on the active. It's going to live with 20. Also, I don't know why Cramorant is, like, drunk right now. He's just off to the side, chilling on his side. He's sleeping on the bench, almost. I guess that's clockwise. That's paralysis, technically. A little bit off center there, for sure. So, the super cold, putting some energy into play here. We're going to get one onto the active Chien-Pao that has 110 HP left. One onto the Manaphy on the bench. We already have one still left on the Greninja, because that did get escape roped to the bench. We're going to put our Pokestop into play in case we want to mill some extra cards. That does help your opponent out, so you do want to be a little bit careful with that, but you're already so far ahead that I suppose it doesn't really matter as long as it's benefiting you both the same amount. Gonna get rid of a Frigibax here, so now if this Baxcalibur does go down, all of the Frigibax are in the discard pile. So that would require a Super Rod. So if you could get really lucky by Sableying the Baxcalibur a couple of times and get a good Roxanne. Actually, you'd have to Roxanne the... You'd have to Sableye the Bibarel first, and then spend 2 turns Sableying the Baxcalibur and Roxanne that second of the 2 turns when the Baxcalibur goes down. Yeah, still doesn't look good. Because that would still put your opponent at 2 prizes remaining. They can just hard attach return to Chien-Pao until they can use it to win. Good use of the coins as markers, though. Being able to... Oh, it looks like the Manaphy was prized and we didn't find the heavy ball early enough. So that was why the Greninja was able to take such... Oh, a little bit of unsportsmanlike conduct, I would say there. You throwing those prize cards down from both players. Okay, I guess it's even. So, I mean, you could always, like, Super Rod the Cram back in, and then switch into that, and then knock out the Chien-Pao, take 2 prize cards, but you're still at 6 prizes here, which is the biggest issue. Your opponent has already taken 3, and they have their whole board completely developed, so, yeah, I don't see any way that Lost Box is able to win this game. I think maybe the best course of action, and I doubt this is in his deck, but if he has if he has Canceling Cologne in deck, he could boss up the Manaphy, Canceling Cologne it, use his own Greninja, hit the Baxcalibur and the Bidoof at the same time, and then on the next turn, Sableye spread to both and Roxanne. But I doubt there's a Canceling Cologne in this Lost Box list. It is basically impossible to find room for that. So we see the Cramorant does come back out and does do the Spit innocently, is able to take out that Chien-Pao, going down to 4 remaining prize cards, but we see the Ultra Ball getting rid of double battle VIP pass. We don't need those. We don't need those tickets to the Taylor Swift concert. No, we can throw those right in the trash. And looks like we are going to use Greninja again, or we're probably just going to retreat it, maybe. Oh, we're cross-switcher. Is this the cross-switcher Canceling Cologne? Okay, yeah, I was going to say, he didn't switch his active yet. And then draws into Canceling Cologne as the last card off of the... off of the Beeberol to draw 5. Draw until you have 5. And now the Manaphy's ability is shut off, and now you can Moonlight Shuriken, knock out both the Manaphy and the Comfey, go down to 1 remaining prize card, and then you win on the next turn with basically any of your Pokemon in play. Although I wouldn't recommend attacking with the Beeberol, because of course, you know, flip a coin if Tails does nothing is a pretty bad attack. And then Pokestops into the second Canceling Cologne just to pour salt in the wound. Along with another cross switcher. So basically if that Manaphy comes back into play again, he might have the same play again next turn if he's not Roxanned. Super Rod gonna put back in some energy. It looks like an energy, a Chien-Pao. And I would say maybe a Frigibax. Yeah, there you go. Frigibax is a good card to put back, just in case something happens to the Beeberol. It's very unlikely that will happen, extremely unlikely, but if it does go down, you don't have a way to put any more energies into play. I'm pretty sure he's saying, move your arm, so I can snipe these things. Takes 2 prizes, goes down to 1 remaining, and now, is there a way for Lost Box to be able to take 4 prize cards this turn? Before his opponent can take 1. Or just knock out the Baxcalibur and pray is another way to go about it. The Pokestop milling the Colress's Experiment. Gonna get 2 more item cards into the hand, being the Lost Vacuum and Escape Rope. Pretty sure those aren't gonna really get you that much further. You can get rid of your opponent's Pokestop as well. Looks like that's 3 Colress's Experiment in the discard pile. We got double Mirage Gate, we've got the Dragonite V, but even if we set up the Dragonite, I think, like, what you could do is, like, I guess, boss up your opponent's Baxcalibur, and then Dragonite it to knock it out, and then hope, but he milled a boss's orders already, and that's probably the only one he plays. Looks like we're trying to still decide what we're going to take off this flower selecting. Looks like we're going to take the Mew EX. Maybe we can copy that Greninja's Moonlight Shuriken. We're going to go for an Escape Rope as well. I think if you're this Chien-Pao, you probably just put up the Manaphy at this point. I think it's safe to say your opponent is not playing Canceling Cologne, so... and even if they are, what do? Knock out the Manaphy? I mean, they could do what I was saying earlier, where you can snipe both the Beeberol and Baxcalibur, but you still just win on the next turn. Pokestop gonna mill another energy card, another Comfey. Getting a Nest Ball, which is pretty irrelevant right now because your bench is nearly full. I guess unless you have another Super Rod and can Super Rod the Manaphy back in Nest Ball for it. But I don't see that. I just see a bunch of Mirage Gates in hand. Just 3 Mirage Gates. I think, for fun, at this point, what I would do is try to load up the Cramorant, just play all 3 Mirage Gates, put as many energies as I can onto the Cramorant, then spit innocently with the attack cost just because. I think that would be pretty fun. But it looks like we might be going for the Wave Splash with Mew EX. We just triple Mirage Gated for triple single water energy. You can't see it right now, but our Chien-Pao player has his head in his hands, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh my god, this is insane. Did my music just stop? My music is not supposed to stop anymore. I installed a Firefox extension so that YouTube will not pause videos on me anymore. Son of a bitch. Maybe I have to have it maximized. That's probably the problem. I had it minimized. Yeah, so are we gonna spit innocently on the Manaphy? We're gonna go for the V-Star power. We're gonna grab an escape rope. And what? We're gonna attack with the Mew EX for fun? Oh, he's gonna put up the Bieberol so that the Mew EX copies the Bieberol's attack and has to flip a coin to see if it does anything. So yeah, definitely is attacking with the Mew. Just for fun. And heads actually hits the Bieberol, but still does not knock it out. What is my life? What am I watching? Only at a League Challenge, folks. Irida for single cross-switcher. I'm pretty sure that telegraphs that we have the win here. We're gonna bring up the Comfey. We are going to use our ability Shivery Chill to look for 1 water energy that we know is in deck, because I think we super rotted it back into play. We Hailblade that Comfey into the atmosphere. And that is a very clean 2-0 victory from Chien-Pao, which took 42 minutes. I hope everybody enjoyed. As always, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe, as it says up at the top of that screen. And we will see you guys next time for hopefully something that's not as one-sided. We'll see you then.